Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second recording on cloud computing basics. My name is Michael Crandell. I'm CEO of RightScale, and today we're going to talk about our stories from the trenches. And specifically, what we're going to address is some of the exciting use cases of real customers running production systems in the cloud and how all of that fits into their businesses. So a word about RightScale and the RightScale platform before we dive in. RightScale is a cloud management platform. That means that we're a system presented through a web-based graphic user interface that allows companies to manage their IT resources, servers, storage, etc., in the cloud. And we really provide three main areas of value without going into the details on this graph. The yellow areas are around automation. So helping you more automatically manage what needs to happen on your IT resources, whether it's scaling up and down or failover handling, things like that, to create maximum performance and uptime. In the green area, it's around control and visibility, so allowing you to see into your IT department who can do what on which servers, what has happened historically, what the costs are as divided out according to departments. And then finally in the blue area, portability. This is around being able to use different cloud resources, whether they come from different public cloud vendors or internal clouds, and having the freedom of choice to move easily among those resources using what you need when you need it, and also building with componentry cloud-ready solutions that lets you get up and running quickly. So what we have to talk about here, we a little bit immodestly have this slogan of no hype. But where it comes from is the fact that for nearly 3 years now, we've been helping companies build their solutions in the cloud. We have more than 20,000 users and have launched over 850,000 servers in the cloud. And RightScale has powered some of the biggest scaling events that we've seen to date. I'll be giving examples of those later. And really is the management system behind the largest production deployments that are running on cloud architectures. So here's just a kind of a logo slide showing the range of companies who use RightScale. And as you can see, they range from smaller startups and small and medium businesses up through large enterprises, and they also range across a whole variety of industries, including everything from media to biopharma to education, etc. These are all the applications that are being run today on RightScale. Actually, it's a selection. And so I'd like to dive in now to give you some compelling examples from just a selection of these. And as we look at these examples, they really represent a number of different use cases. This is a graph of a survey we did of our users, asking them, what are you intending to run today in terms of workloads, and what do you plan for this year, 2010? And you can see the range of answers there. Not surprisingly, there are a lot of scalable public-facing websites being deployed. There's a lot of test and development being powered. And then across a variety of other uses ranging from business intelligence, transaction processing, to big batch and grid computing tasks, mobile services, and then even disaster recovery. Here's the first example for today. It's Sony Music. Sony Music runs in the cloud, and some of you may recognize this guy. He's got a hairstyle a little bit like mine. That's Bob Dylan from long ago, and it's just one of the artists that Sony Music supports in their web store product capability. This is half of the Sony Music operation. It's the actual artist sites. So you can see an example here ranging from different artists, and Sony both provides the web design and artistic background as well as operationally supporting these sites, and that's the part where RightScale comes in. And they support both these sites that are more or less content sites about the artists, as well as these parallel sites which are really online stores. So this is an example of PCI compliant activities leveraging the cloud where actual e-commerce transaction occurs. And you can see on the far right here the example of an AC/DC offer that was made using RightScale in the cloud. It was a kind of a cool offer. It involved a guitar amplifier, an old style LP record, as well as the latest AC/DC CD, all bundled together for $199. And this sold all the way across the globe. I understand sales were pretty strong in France. But this is one example of powering both content and e-commerce stores on top of the cloud and RightScale. Here's another example. This is a company many of you probably have heard of. It was one of the earliest success stories in the cloud, a company called Animoto. If you haven't tried this site out, I suggest go visit it right away. It's a very nice capability to take digital images, your photos in effect, and create running movies out of them, accompanied by music that you choose or upload. And part of the key secret sauce at Animoto is what they call cinematic artificial intelligence. It's the logic that allows them to apply sophisticated transition effects, sort of TV level transition effects, in keeping with the music and the mood and the timing of the music. Anyway, this product and site, Animoto, got started with us very early on, and they were humming along at about 50 servers a month. You see on the flat part of this green line. This was in the early part of 2008. And then Animoto got a brilliant idea. They released a Facebook plugin that would allow you to collect all of your photos in Facebook, create a movie, email it to your Facebook friends so that they could view it. And then, of course, each one of those friends who received it was able to go to Animoto and make their own movie from their own photos. Well, you can see right away the potential for viral growth in that idea, and in fact, it happened. So in the middle of April 2008, Animoto launched that capability, and it went viral. And because of the CPU intensive task of creating these Animoto movies, it was a server hungry kind of a process. And you can see that here in a little less than 4 days, they grew from about 50 servers on average to over 3,500 servers running. This, I think, is a great testament to the capabilities of Animoto's software. Also, this ran on Amazon's cloud, so the fact that a startup could go from 50 to 3,500 servers really was testimony to the flexibility, the elasticity of the cloud. But also, none of this would have happened without RightScale. There was no one sitting around pushing a green button to launch more servers. All of this was based on RightScale automation, and in particular, the auto-scaling capability. Here's another interesting example. This is a very different kind of scaling. This is an example of a company called StarCut, which is in the business of powering web content to mobile devices, so phones, PDAs, etc. And they provide this service to all kinds of content publishers. And this example here is powering stock quote delivery over mobile devices. And this is a monitoring graph captured from the RightScale interface, which manages StarCut's capability here. And you can see from the graph this kind of devil's horn pattern is showing that people check stock quotes in the morning, and it tapers off at lunchtime, and they check them again in the afternoon, and then it tapers off in the evening and on the weekends. So this is an example of transient demand, but very predictable, kind of on a weekly cycle, predictable demand. And StarCut uses a feature called scheduled scaling because they know that every morning during the week this load is going to appear. And so they can make sure that the additional server and other capabilities are online by the time that load hits. They also power content for other publishers, as I mentioned. And this example is around the Beijing Summer Olympics a couple of years ago. And here you see a graph that actually extends over the course of the Olympics. And you can see the little up and down curves in the graph representing the kind of load they were seeing of people checking news stories about what was going on at the Olympics. There's a spike there just after week 33, about midway through the graph. And that represented the the case where Michael Phelps won his record-breaking 8th gold medal during the Beijing Summer Olympics. So there was a big spike in traffic there, which was handled well by RightScale in the cloud and StarCut's system. But if you talk with the StarCut IT people, their operations people, they point back to the left side of the graph before week 32, because that's where they were able to run sandbox tests in order to validate their system and verify that it could handle the kind of load that they expected. And in fact, if you look at the height of that peak, they did a pretty good job estimating what they were going to need for the Olympics. And it let them do that on a very economical basis because, again, they only fired up the resources they needed for that capability. Here's another example. Many of you have seen this, this share this icon on a whole variety of websites, very popular across the web as a mechanism for any of us as website visitors to share something we see on a particular site via email or Dig or Technorati with others. And so Share This has, again, this icon sprinkled all over the web, and they use RightScale, and they're really powering at times over 35,000 share requests per second using this system. Here's another example. It's a company called Sling Media. And Sling Media really powers your TV content to be viewable on a whole variety of devices wherever you are when you take the Sling box with you. So what they're really in the business of doing is capturing content from a variety of video publishers. And then in order to be able to deliver it quickly, depending on the resolution and format of the device you want to view it on, they really need that content ready at a variety of resolutions and encodings. And so they have what's called a transcoding challenge. They need to convert video from source formats into a variety of output formats to make it ready for viewing. And this is a constant challenge because, of course, you get more video content every day from different publishers. So what they've built on top of RightScale is a pretty substantial rendering farm that does this transcoding. And it's helped them, again, match the resources that they need with the amount of transcoding that they need to do. And so at a glance, the way their system works is they use a feature in RightScale called RightGrid. It's a batch processing feature that facilitates, makes it very easy for any company that has a task that involves jobs that need to be processed, sort of identical jobs that need to have the same processing occur over and over. And they use this, in this case, for transcoding. They bring in all the content partner content. They ingest it into the cloud, run RightGrid transcoding jobs, and the end result is the ability to view all this content on a whole variety of devices pretty much at your fingertips. This same kind of RightGrid capability, by the way, is used in a number of other cases, including processing insurance, health claim forms, analyzing whether they're valid or not. There's a company that does that. Another example might be in analyzing protein molecules by biopharma companies. So again, a whole broad number of examples. This is one of them. Here's an interesting whole entire category. It's really around social games, in particular Facebook games and games running on other social networks. And RightScale really powers 10 out of the top Facebook games. You can see arrows here. This is a screen capture from a site called developeranalytics.com, and it tracks the most popular games, Farmville, Cafe World, Fishville, Happy Aquarium, etc. And we have arrows pointing here to the games that are really powered on top of the RightScale platform, and that includes really the top 3 companies that are powering this. So it's really an area that, again, has a great need for transient compute capability based on top of the cloud, and an easy way and to manage spinning up resources when you need them and spinning them down when you don't, and doing all this with a lot of automation. That's why this category has migrated toward using RightScale. And here are just some of the logos of some of the leading games powered by RightScale. And then I bring up this 2% number because just to give a sense of scale, when it reaches its peak, games powered by RightScale are consuming on the neighborhood of 2% of all internet traffic in the world being driven by these games. So it gives you some sense of the massive scale that can be accommodated by an automated cloud management system. And in this case, it's RightScale. So that's a quick snapshot overview of various stories from the trenches, companies running real production systems in the cloud and gaining real benefits from RightScale today. And as we say at RightScale, the cloud starts here. We think we're a great place to start if you're considering trying to build a system that you know will be built according to best practices and be able to scale as your company grows from small to large. And we have a number of ways to get started. You can sign up for our free developer edition. It's quite a useful tool. It's available at no cost on our website. Or contact us at rightscale.com, either at sales@rightscale.com or call our 866 number, our toll-free number, to consult with a live person about your application and your workload needs. And there's also a wealth of material on our website. Great way to start is to go to rightscale.com/learn. So thanks very much for listening, and we'll be back soon with more on RightScale and the cloud.